Sudhakar Jee, how important is it, for political parties and leaders, responsible leaders, especially a leader of the opposition, to understand the sensitivities of our defense ecosystem? And how would you rate Rahul Gandhi talking about and putting out these numbers of thousands of kilometers being taken by China without verifiable proof?
Vinit, is that question to me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Vinit, good afternoon. Thank you for getting me to your show. I was wondering what do a military man do when the panel is actually loaded with so many uh, representatives from the mainstream parties. Well, as a disclaimer, right at the outset, I do not have any entitlement to comment on any political leadership. However, since the issues are related to national security, I'll reserve the privilege to comment because it is impacting the nation's security along the border. First and foremost thing is that anybody, let alone the leader of opposition, anybody commenting on border, do you know that this border, when the Doklam was taking place, I happened to be dealing with the subject there, including in the armed forces itself, nobody was allowed to speak, except for Chief of the Army Staff having a direct dialogue with the Defense Minister. Doklam was never spoken at any level. It was so sensitive. So what I'm trying to say is that this 2000 square kilometer, firstly, it is ill-founded. It is a kind of a misinformation as far as I am concerned. I have been the general officer commanding of that sector from Karakoram to Chumar. I know what all places the 65 patrolling points. I know what the situation is, but that doesn't allow me to discuss such issues, sensitive issues, in the open domain. Why am I saying this? I am saying this because not many people in India are conversant with the actual status of the border. We don't have a border with China as on today. There is a line of actual control which Chow Lai long time back in 60s he came, Jawaharlal Nehru declined, and in 1993 the first protocol was signed by late Honorable Prime Minister Narasimha Rao, and thereafter a number of protocols have been signed and junked by none other than the present president of China. So in summary, I have covered this, but the essential part is that the China Study Group, which was formed way back in 1976, in the year 1997, they gave out 65 patrolling points, after which our patrols are supposed to go, dominate, and come back. By and by, China has been following the practice of salami slicing. Why they are doing? Well, it is known to everyone. In absence of a border, any enemy, any adversary will take advantage and exploit. So that is what China has been doing. Time doesn't allow me to dilate further beyond this. But the most important point is that we are playing to the hands of the enemy. Why am I saying this is, there is an organization, Vinith, you will bear me out, often I have mentioned, there is an organization called as United Front Works Department. Last year only, the budget allocation has actually been doubled. It was created way back in 1922 and it had gone into a dormancy stage. Come 5th of August 2019, abrogation of Article 370 and 35A, this was revived and the impetus was given. So what is the basic task of this organization? The task of this organization is to penetrate into democracies like India and hijack the mind and thought process of important leadership, the political leadership, manipulate the editorial scripts in the media houses, and also get into the legislature and bring about the difference, the fault lines amongst the parties who were supposed to formulate laws. So this is what precisely they have succeeded. They are actually enjoying and clapping, sitting in Beijing, and they have penetrated into our system. Unfortunately, we haven't understood the game. Now, to answer your question directly, straightforward, nobody, this kind of answers or speculative expressions in the parliament is not a closed house these days. It is going in open domain. It goes down to the Jawan who's right there on the border. I have seen Jawans have been asking me as a general officer commanding whenever I have gone on ground, sir, is this true? Is it happening like this? Is our political leadership doubtful about skeptical about our sincerity and dedication. We are, forcing ourselves at such inclement weather, dedicating and sacrificing our personal comfort for the national security. Is our sincerity being doubted? Such like issues have been asked by the Jawans to me. So under these circumstances, I personally feel it is highly counterproductive. We are playing into the hands of the enemy, and we should, as far as possible, the same point could have been actually framed. A question could have been asked in the parliament: has India's territory been occupied by China? Firstly, if the answer was yes, what is the government doing? Instead of that, an allegation of that serious nature which is being leveled, perhaps it's actually turning out to be very, very serious and counterproductive down the level at the grassroots Jawans who are actually guarding the frontiers. Therefore, I would submit that it should be avoided as much as possible. Border issues should be, as far as possible, discussed in closed room or at least in restricted audience, not in the open domain. Back to you, Vinny.